Now we've taken care of the grading and the sidewalk through there that we don't need. Let's take a look at how we would handle the drop curb. We want to create a drop curb across our driveway because we need to be able to turn into the driveway. By default, we just have a 6-inch curb here going across the whole driveway. We want to be able to change that because we want to transition from 6-inch curb to like a 1-inch drop curb across the driveway and then transition back up to the full height curb. So if you see the 3D model right now, we've got a 6-inch curb going across both of the driveways. So to transition the curb, we're going to use parametric constraints to do this. There's other methods to do it. This is a pretty easy and effective way to accomplish this task. So we're going to use parametric constraints, which again will allow us to override default template point values. So we're going to override the default height of our curb using a parametric constraint. The template itself has a parametric constraint value for the vertical value set at 6 inches by default. So we're going to modify that to transition the curb height from 6 inches to 1 inch across the driveway, and then also back up to 6 inches full curb height. So let's take a look at creating parametric constraints across the driveway to take care of our curb height. Okay, now to create my drop curb, I need to transition first from my full height curb to a 1-inch drop curb. So we're going to do that by using parametric constraints. So I have these construction elements that I have drawn in my file here, which I had mentioned before when I did my template drops. Those are drawn with just civil geometry and they're drawn as a construction element. So I can snap to those. We'll come up here to create parametric constraint and we'll locate our corridor. And for the first starting station, we're going to use our start template drop because we want to start from our full height curb and then we're going to transition down to the 1-inch drop curb. So this is going to be our starting point for the transition of the curb height. And then our ending station is going to be here where the start of the drop curb is. Just make sure that's the left. Just make sure we get the right. Make sure we get right side curb height. Okay, so we got the curb height for the right side. Okay, so our start value is going to be our default of 6 inches, and our ending value is going to be the 1 inch because we want it to transition down to 1 inch vertically. Okay, so once we have that set, then we will left click to accept, left click, and then you'll notice in the 3D model, the curb height adjusts. Okay, so it drops down from 6 inches to the 1 inch. But then our problem is we still have our full height curb all the way across the driveway. So now we need to create another parametric constraint across the driveway for the 1-inch drop curb. So once again, we'll use parametric constraints to accomplish this. So we'll go to locate our corridor. This time we'll go snap to our start drop curb line here. And then for end station will be our end drop curb line. Again, it's the same parametric label that we're using. This time we'll just set different values. This time we're going to go with 1 inch. Left click to accept. 1 inch again. Left click to accept. And then now we'll get the drop curb created across the driveway. And also notice we don't really need to create that extra transition on this end because we're already at 1 inch. It's automatically going to go back up to the default 6 inches on this side. So you can see it's pretty easy to create a drop curb type of scenario. And there are some other methods you can use to accomplish this as well. This is just one way to do this. Now let's do the same thing for this this driveway number 2 over here. Again, same procedure. We're going to select our parametric constraints. So we'll go over here, locate our corridor. Snap to the start driveway template drop 1 for the begin transition of our curb. Start drop 2, snap to that line. Again, we're on the right side, so curb height on the right side. We're going to transition from 6 inches to 1 inch, so our stop value is going to be 0.83. Left click to accept. It's going to transition the curb height there. Okay, so now we want to go 1 inch drop curb across the driveway, just like we did on driveway number 1. Once again, select the corridor, start template drop, or start the drop curb, snap to that line, end station, snap to that line, and parametric constraint label once again. It's the curb height for the right side, and this time 1 inch across the whole driveway. So change those values for, and then now the model will update. We'll have a nice drop curb through our driveway there.